It's like, I talk about this stuff and how the left, and yes, I'm talking about the left. Now let me get something straight here. The right, they're not all great either, right? And I think we all will agree. You see, that's the difference between those on the left and those on the right. We'll admit that those on the right are not all angels and all peachy and all just perfect, because no one's perfect. But those on the left, they try to act like they are perfect. They try to come across like they have all the answers. They don't want me to be heard, and they don't want other people to be heard that talk about them. And listen, if they didn't want us to talk about them, you know what the easiest thing to do was? Stop doing all the crazy stuff. Simply stop doing crazy stuff, and we won't talk about it, because then we won't have nothing to talk about. Now, one thing that I've always been talking about is how they're trying to change what freedom of speech is. Many of y'all have already heard this multiple times. They're trying to take freedom of speech and say that certain words incite violence. Certain words will cause violence. They're actually saying this. And I told people before, I said, this is their MO. This is what they're wanting to do. They're trying to convince everybody that certain words you cannot say. Basically, what it comes down to is they're trying to remove our First Amendment rights. You understand what I'm telling you? They want to get rid of our First Amendment rights. They want to get rid of the Second Amendment, right? They want to do away with the U.S. Constitution altogether. And if they get what they want in Georgia, they're going to go down that path. I'm telling you right now. I've told people before how the Republican Party is the original party for black people and white people. Republican Party was created so that black people can have representation. The Democrats have been upset about that ever since, and they still don't want you to have representation. They really don't, unless you agree to everything that they say. Now, I want to share this with you. I want to share something with you. And everything I'm getting ready to show you is what I've been talking about, what they're going to do in the future. And now here it is. First one I want to share with you is this person here, Sheila Jackson. Oh, my goodness. She's not a pleasant woman. I don't even know if she identifies as a woman or not, but it's irrelevant. The thing is, she's not pleasant. She's not a pleasant woman. She's literally saying that words break bones. Y'all hear what I'm telling you? You remember, you've heard the expression when you were little, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. We've all heard that, right? The little nursery rhyme when we were younger, right? Meaning, and the reason why we were taught that, because, people say stuff and you're like, okay, whatever. Because freedom of speech is allowed in the United States of America, but they want to tell you what freedom of speech is. They want to tell you what you can and can't say. See, for me, and I've said this multiple times, freedom of speech for me starts when you say something that I don't like. See, a lot of people can't grasp that concept, especially those on the left, the trolls. They can't grasp the concept. Why do you think Twitter is in such a whirlwind right now? Twitter, because the left, they're extremely upset because Elon Musk is allowing free speech, regardless if you like it or not. And what's really remarkable is that the left is saying that because Elon Musk is allowing free speech on Twitter, that free speech is under attack. Free speech is being threatened because Elon Musk is allowing free speech. You can't make this stuff up, people. Now, listen to what Sheila Jackson says here, because, again, she's not a nice person. She's not at all. Listen to what she says about free speech, because that's what it comes down to.
Let me just say this, Reverend Sharpton. It is very well documented that words nowadays can actually break your bones.
You hear this? They're going to break your bones. Words can actually break your bones. Now, I want to know which word. I mean, from the nicest word to the absolute disgusting, despicable, nasty, horrible word that can break your bone. What in between there, from the most pleasant, nicest, caressing word you can say to the most despicable word? Which word in between there can actually break your bones? There's not a single word. But they're doing this. She's saying this because they want to do away with free speech.
Can actually break your bones. Words have generated violence. We've seen that.
Words have generated violence. Now, people hear words and they get upset. Of course, that's been happening since the day of time. People say something, oh my goodness, you said something, it hurts my feelings. Now, and then they go, well, I want to bring bodily harm to you. See, that's a weak person. Because someone says something that you don't like and all of a sudden you want to hit them, that makes you a weak person. People say stuff about Will Johnson all the time that is really nasty. But I don't ever go out and talk about I want to harm them. No, just the opposite. Just the opposite. See, I know that I'm strong enough not to fall for it. People have said despicable stuff about me, lied about me, and just said horrible things about me, but I don't go and try to attack them. But no, that's what they want us to do. Now, look at this one. This goes right along with all of this. Now, me being a black American, I'm an American that happens to be black, okay? And I did a short film called Black in America a while back. And it was really something. YouTube, oh man, they lost their boop boop when they saw it. They lost their backside when they saw it. It's called Black in America. It's pretty good, actually. My buddy Ben Burquam's in it, and Josh from Oreo Express. But listen to this. Listen, look at this one. If you haven't seen this, this is going to be something. And I didn't even know this about Sammy Davis Jr. I didn't know this about him. He was a Republican. He was a Republican. So if he was alive today, you know they would hate him. These Democrats that are getting ready to talk about Sammy Davis Jr. would hate him today because these same Democrats, they hate black people like me. They hate black people like me. And these are Democrat black people that hate black Republicans. Listen to this. Listen.
Sammy Davis Jr. was dealing with, was he black enough at the time?
Yes.
You hear this? Was he black enough? I get that too. I've had people send me messages and say, you're not black enough, right? I've had people say that because they don't like what I'm saying. They don't like the way that I think. And these people that don't like this, they've actually sent me threats because they don't like what I'm saying.
Being a Republican, supporting Nixon, being the only black man who was at that level of fame with the Rats hack. And I mean, it was, and you're working on that.
We're going to explain what it's like. I think that through Sammy, we will understand what it's like really to be black in America. And
really, you hear this? He said, through Sammy, we'll really understand what it's like to be black in America. Let me remind you, the Democrat Party has never changed. The Republican Party has not changed, right? Let me put it this way. There was never a switch. The Democrat Party is still the party of the KKK. That has never been a switch. And you ask people, when did it switch? They say, well, it was over time. It was a period of time that it switched. No, it was a period of time that the lie set in to have black people believing it. There was never a switch. Listen to this. Talking about black in America.
Sammy, we will understand what it's like really to be black in America and what he had to, the sacrifices that he had to make to actually, and he was disliked, but my mom doesn't like Sammy Davis Jr.
His mom doesn't like Sammy Davis Jr. I bet you his mom won't like me either. I bet you his mom won't like Candace Owens. His mom won't like Brandon Tatum. His mom won't like David J. Harris. His mom won't like any black conservative alive today, according to him. Because why? Because black people not on the Democrat plantation.
I'm doing it for my mother because she thinks he was an Uncle Tom. She thinks he was a sellout. Well, he was really responsible for financing a good portion of the civil rights movement.
See, and again, the civil rights movement was a movement by the Republican Party. It was not a movement by the Democrat Party. They did not want black people to have civil rights. And it's really interesting that the Communist News Network is even having this conversation talking about Sammy Davis Jr. because they want to denigrate him, but they can't. Right? And you notice that they're not even acknowledging that the Democrats then are the same Democrats today. They're not even acknowledging that. They're not even saying anything about it.
People don't know that, you know?
Since we're talking about the N-word, can we talk? I want to play this. This is Quentin Tarantino. I want your reaction to it.
Uh-oh.
Now, I didn't even know Quentin Tarantino did this interview. Someone mentioned it to me, but I hadn't seen it. But this is where he's asked a question about Quentin Tarantino saying the N-word. Again, words, just words. They don't break my bones. They may break yours, but they don't break mine. Listen.
You talk about being the conductor and the audience being the orchestra. So when people say, well, there's too much violence in movies, they uses the N-word too often, you say what?
You should see something else. Really, it's like, you know, if you have a problem with my movies, there's other movies to go see. You know, apparently I'm not making them for you.
Just like my videos. If you don't like my videos, you don't have to watch it. You don't like the information that I'm sharing with you, you don't have to watch it. It's really that simple. See, I'm not a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, but he has made some movies in the past that were pretty decent. I mean, he's way out there. Some of them are pretty violent. He's pretty crazy, but some of them have been pretty good, right? I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due. But the point is, if you don't like them, you don't have to watch them. That's the whole point here. And the left, they can care less if they're going to watch it or not. They just don't want anybody to watch them because, hey, you're saying something that's offending me. Watch this.
What do you think?
Quentin, that's not the right answer.
Oh, what is the right answer then?
Really?
What's the right answer?
The right answer is, well, you know, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I would have checked it off as artistic. But nigga is our word. That's my word. And you have no right to say that. And you have no right to feel that way. Sorry, bro. Next.
Sammy.
Y'all see this? Y'all see this? He's like, that's my word. Well, he can keep that word. He can have that word. I can care less. Again, words are just words. They're wanting, and again, why can one group of people say something and another group of people can't? Because they're controlled by words. See, I don't allow words to control me. Now, you can say stuff and be hateful, and guess what? You have every right to say something that Will Johnson doesn't like. You have every right. You have every right to say something that anybody doesn't like. You have the right. That's what freedom of speech is all about. Saying something that people do not like to hear. But you have the left, specifically white liberals, and white liberals have convinced black liberals that they've been oppressed and they're victims and that you have to fight against words because words can break bones. You see how ignorant this is? You see how stupid that is? But they do this all the time. This is their MO. This is what they do. Now, let me change it up here because here's something else that I want to share with you. You know, Biden, he shut down the XL pipeline. Remember that? He shut down the offshore drilling. He shut down drilling on federal lands. And then when the oil companies went to go get permits, they put all of these stipulations on the permits to prevent the oil companies from proceeding with drilling the oil on federal lands. And then they turn around, the Biden regime, they turn around and say that they're telling the oil companies to drill. Right? Well, the oil companies can't find new locations to drill. They just want the oil companies to deplete whatever it is that they have and just run out. So then that way the oil company can say, well, we don't have any more. That's what they want. That's what they're wanting to do. Listen to this. Venezuela, the Biden regime lifts sanctions on Venezuela so Venezuela can drill oil with Chevron, but they're not doing it for us here in the United States of America. You have to ask yourself, why would they do that?
And on the sanctions relief for Venezuela, why is it that President Biden would rather let U.S. companies drill for oil in Venezuela than here in the U.S.?
That's not an accurate take on the president's view.
Earlier this month, he said no more drilling. There is no more drilling.
And did you see the smirk on his face? That's not the take. He's up here literally lying. And Biden did say, because there was an activist yelling at Biden, and Biden said, we're not doing any new drilling. We're not doing any drilling. The drilling has been stopped. Y'all remember that? And then this dude here is acting like Biden didn't even say that. So who's lying? Biden's lying, or is he lying? Or are both of them lying?
The president has issued 9,000 permits for drilling on U.S. federal lands, Peter. 9,000 of them being unused. There are plenty of opportunities for oil and gas companies to drill here in the United States. I'll let Chevron speak for this particular issue of sanctions relief, but our expectation is it won't be a lot of oil coming out of there. It'll have to be shipped to the United States.
Do you hear this? You hear this? See, Venezuela, they're allies with Russia. Did y'all know this? They're allies with Iran, the countries that want to destroy America. So Biden, hey, here's a great idea. Let's open up sanctions against a country that's ally with our enemy. Now, if President Trump did this, they would say, oh, my goodness, he's in bed with the enemy again. You can't make this stuff up. And then you have Karine Jean-Pierre saying that the gas prices are down, the diesel is down, but yet it's still up $1.15 more this year than it was last year.
As you know, President Biden committed to doing everything within his power to address Putin's price hike at the pump. Today, gas prices have returned to the levels they were prior to Putin's invasion of Ukraine. As the chart behind me shows, the national average is $3.55 per gallon, down over $1.45 per gallon from the June peak. The most common price is $2.99 per gallon. That's saving American families with two cars about $160 per month on average.
So you know what it is, and I've said this before, they cause all of this issue. They cause the energy crisis, the gas crisis, and then the gas and everything go up. The gas and everything went up before Putin.
Russia.
It went up before Putin. People were complaining about the gas before Putin.
Russia.
Right? Everybody was complaining about it. It had nothing to do with Putin. But of course, they're blaming Putin. But the interesting thing is that the gas price, they raised the gas prices and it went through the roof in some places. And then the gas price come down like they are the heroes, like they're here to save the day. But gas is still higher now than when President Trump was in office. And that is by design because they want to destroy this country. Now, look at this one. This is the Biden regime. They're talking about what Biden has done with this deal with Venezuela. And this is what Karine Jean-Pierre won't talk about, nor the liberal media.
Louisiana joins me now. Senator, an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal calls this a, quote, dirty oil deal. What do you think?
Totally agree. And what that Wall Street Journal editorial points out is that the administration just killed a loan to Guyana, which is right next door to Venezuela, a democracy in which it's been an ally of the U.S. Instead of helping the Guyanans build infrastructure to take advantage of what is called light sweet crude off their coast, incredible economic development for an ally, they kill that loan, but at the same time they are helping the Venezuelans. This is wrong. If you want to support democracy, support the democracies that are already in place. By the way, including ours, there's a lot of Americans working in Guyana. It's a way to create jobs in the U.S. As you go down there. The administration doesn't care about these jobs.
But you know what? That's just the whole point. The Biden regime and the Democrats, they're not trying to actually bring jobs back to the United States of America. They want wokeism, right? Why do you think that they're trying to pay off student loans? They want to give you money for student loans because that's what socialism is all about. You agree to pay for something, but then you don't have to pay for it because we'll just take it from everybody else who's working hard, who's actually doing something. This is them taking down America. This is all that it is. There's no other way to explain this. That's all that it is. Look at this one here. Oh, same thing there. Look at this. Now, let me change the story here because I can talk about the oil and the gas. We already know it's an issue. I told people before, I said the Biden regime, and I'm willing to bet I don't know. I'm not privy to this information, but I'm willing to bet. And I'm just, because I see the writing on the wall, I'm willing to bet that they already have an executive order written up for Joe Brandon to do away or either to hinder the Second Amendment. How many of y'all think I'm wrong? They're pushing it right now. They're trying to do everything they can to demolish the Second Amendment so that you cannot protect yourself and your family. It's the same thing communists have done in the past. This is nothing new. They're just trying to figure out the best way for them to do this. That's all it is. Listen to what Joe Brandon says here.
The idea we still allow semi-automatic weapons to be
semi, not full automatic, because I don't even think you can buy full automatic. Maybe someone can tell me. I think maybe in some states you can. Maybe here in Texas even. But he's talking about semi-automatics. Now, as long as he's been a politician, how do you think? And he also says that he's, about weapons. He owns a shotgun. He said he owns a shotgun and some other guns, right? He says he owns them, right? So he's talking about semi, which everyone, if you go to the store, I don't even think you can buy fully automatic. At least I haven't seen them. But every time I go into a gun shop or whatever, it's always been semi-automatic.
We still allow semi-automatic weapons to be purchased is sick. It's just sick. It has no social redeeming value. Zero, none. Not a single solitary rationale.
Not a single one, except for protecting your family, a tyrannical government, right? What does the U.S. Constitution say about the Second Amendment? What does it say? And it doesn't say that, and they go, well, it doesn't say anything about automatic, right? That's the talking point of the liberal. I can care less. We have the Second Amendment for a reason. Now, I can't say it here because, if I say it here, then oh my goodness. But anyways, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about Joe Biden talking about semi-automatics. I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't believe me now, you will soon. Because I'm telling you, without me knowing, seeing the writing on the wall, I'm willing to bet they have the executive order already written up. They're just waiting for the opportunity for Biden to sign it. But they know that if he signs it, it's going to be havoc to pay. So they're trying to get it to where they can pass in Congress. This is what they want. And I'm telling you, they're working on it right now. They're working on it. Listen to this.
Did the president misspeak, or does he in fact want to ban all semi-automatic guns?
No, he was talking about assault weapons. That's what he was talking about on that morning or that afternoon when he was asked that question.
Okay, so there she knows exactly what he's talking about. But there's other times when Biden puts his foot in his mouth, she won't even say what he meant, or she'll deflect completely. You see, she was quick to answer that one. Y'all notice that? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just the only one noticing it. No, I know you're noticing it. I'm just sharing it with you. Now, let me share something else that's really interesting for you. President Trump, he put in his announcement, right? He put his name back in the hat that he's running for 2024, rightfully so. We all knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. People ask me, well, do you think Trump's going to run again? Absolutely. Right? But that doesn't mean I idolize Trump. I love the country the way it was under President Trump. And I've said it multiple times. There's a lot of Democrats out there. They love Trump's America. They hated Trump because they were told to hate him. Now they want Trump's America, but they still hate Trump. You see how that works? But the left, they see that when we like Trump the way we like him, and I don't, like I said, Trump is just a man. He doesn't walk on water. He says stuff and he does things that he shouldn't do quite often. Right? Because he's just a man. Will Johnson does the same thing. Will Johnson has said stuff and done stuff in the past that he shouldn't have done. Hey, it's the nature of humanity, right? I almost said nature of the beast, but it's the nature of humanity. Listen to this. This is on MSDNC as they talk about President Trump and how people like President Trump. And let me remind you about something, or not even remind you. Let me enlighten you about something, because he's getting ready to say it here. I know people that have pictures in their home of Obama on their wall. What do you think that is? Right? I know people that have pictures of Bush on their wall. Right? What do you think that is? right? Some people like the president that they had, or maybe they was with the picture with them, or they just like the picture. I don't have any pictures in my studio or anything with Trump. I do have a signed hat from President Trump, but I don't have any pictures of President Trump. But listen to what this Yahoo says about President Trump and his supporters.
I think that we have to understand that there is a loyalty and a fealty to Donald Trump that transcends the normal politics that you and I have been acquainted with over our last years, since you've worked in politics, since I've covered it here. Yeah. There is a loyalty to this man who is the leader of this movement. There are folks with pictures of this man in their home.
See what I just told you? I'm willing to bet everyone's watching right now. Y'all know somebody that have a picture of Bush in their home or even Obama in their home, right? Just because you have a picture of somebody doesn't mean you idolize them, right? Again, I don't have any pictures of anybody, now that I think about it, but I do have a picture of, it says, we stand for our national flag, our national anthem, and our flag. I do have that up there, and it has an eagle on it, but there's no people. I do have a sign back here that says freedom is not free, and it shows the soldiers, but it's like a silhouette. But I don't have any pictures of people. But even if you do have pictures of people, it doesn't mean that you're idolizing them. It means that you enjoyed or you liked that person. But see, they see us as idolizing President Trump because of the corruption that they have done. And the corruption that they have done in the past, people like President Trump because President Trump actually opened up the eyes of millions of people, and the establishment, these elitists, they hate all of it. Now, one more thing here. Elizabeth Warren is saying that the Republicans are for the rich billionaires. But let me remind you of something. The Republican Party is the party that gave black people representation. The Republican Party was the party that was for civil rights. The Republican Party was the party against slavery. The Republican Party was the party for the small man to have a business and start a business. The Democrat Party, they're all about communism. They're all about wokeism. They're all about you not having to pay your bill, you not paying for the consequences in your life. See, I learned from my consequences, from the things that I've done in the past. I've learned from that. I learned from it. I'm still learning. Imagine that. But listen what Elizabeth Warren says about the student loan debt that people agreed to when they signed the contract to pay it back.
But to me, this is one of the clearest differences between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats, led by Joe Biden, are out there saying, we hear you on what it's like to get crushed by student loan debt.
You hear this? We hear you to get crushed by student loan debt? Then maybe you shouldn't have taken the debt. You know, I had to get a loan for my studio here, and I'm still paying for it. I ask people to support me, but I don't go, hey, people, help me. Send me money because I need to keep the lights on in the studio to keep bringing you information. People get it. People know. People understand it. But I'm not like, oh, my goodness, I need the government to pay for Will Johnson. I am working for it. And people, if people find it in their heart to support me, then they find it in their heart. But I never go out and I never in my entire life thought that the government should be giving me handouts. Never thought it. So, oh, women, I'll do this loan, and the government just pays it off for me. It doesn't work that way because then it goes on the backs of hardworking Americans, and it should not be that way. It's like the quickest way to destroy the country.
We know what that means, and so we're here to try to help. The Republicans, they got nothing. They say, no, the only people that they're willing to fight for are billionaires and billionaire corporations and conspiracy theorists. Yeah. Democrats fight for working people.
You hear this? She's saying the Democrats fight for working people. She's like one of the most idiotic people on the planet. She says that the Democrats are fighting for working people, but they're going to tax the working people to pay for people that don't want to pay their student loan. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How does that work? And then they say, well, we're for the working man, the working people, but we're going to take the money from you and give it to the people who don't want to pay their student loan. You know what? These people make it easy to talk about them. They really do. And again, if you don't like the fact that I'm talking about the Democrats, the Democrats, the communist, socialist, evil, leftist party, stop doing the stupid stuff. I don't want to pay for your student loan. I've already had my student loan. I had to pay my student loan off. It took me years to pay it off. Thank God that I did pay it off, and the government didn't pay it off for me. So you need to buck up, Buttercup, and pay your own student loan. Stop looking for everyone to give you a handout. See, the government is doing this and they're mentally controlling you and you don't even realize it. Well, people need help. Everybody needs help. But people need help with their student loan. Get a job. You know, there's help wanted signs everywhere, but people don't want to do that. They don't want to do that work. They want to leave that work open for the illegals coming across the country. Let me share this one with you. Here's Warlock. His name is Warnock, but I call him Warlock because he's an evil person. Warlock was asked, does he want Joe Biden to come down and campaign with him? What do you think he said? He should be like, oh, yes, because he supported Joe Biden 98% of the time. I guess the other 2%, maybe he was, off running his wife over, or at least her foot. But he listened to when he was asked about Biden coming down and supporting him. You can't make it up, people.
You talked a little bit about President Obama joining you. Would you welcome President Biden down, or are there any plans for him to join you on the campaign trail?
President Obama is retired. I don't control the schedule of the President of the United States. But we've got a little over 2 weeks, and we'll see who shows up.
Would you welcome them, though, if he did come down? Would you welcome him?
Listen, I welcome for the people of Georgia to show up, and we'll see over the course of the next few weeks who shows up.
The simple answer will be yes, I would welcome Joe Brandon to show up. But he can't say that. He can't say that. It's almost like, no, Joe Brandon, don't show up because then you really ruin my chances here. Don't show up. Why wouldn't he ask him to show up? Why wouldn't he say, yes, I would welcome him? Now, I'm willing to bet if Herschel Walker was asked, hey, would you welcome President Trump if he come down there and support you? What do you think he would say? Absolutely. Absolutely. So why can't he do it for Joe Brandon? Okay, I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight. And this is going to be the first time I've done this. And what I'm about to do, I am about to go live exclusively on Rumble. I'm going to stop the feed here on YouTube. I want to thank everyone for coming in. But if you want to join me for the information that I'm getting ready to share with you, because, I can't share it on Facebook. I can't share it on YouTube because for some reason, I know the reason, but they don't like it when you have a different opinion than them. Or if what the information that I'm getting ready to share on Rumble. I'm getting ready to share some information on Rumble, and it's going to be explosive information. Y'all going to see a side of Will that you haven't seen before. Well, maybe a little bit, but it's not nothing real crazy. But even if you're a troll, come on over to Rumble. You about to be surprised. All right, I'm going to put this up on the screen. I'm going to go over to Rumble, and we're going to rock and roll on Rumble. All right, I'm getting ready to go over there. So go ahead and make note of it right now. It's rumble.com. You see that /C/Will Johnson. That's pretty simple, right? All right. Or you can just simply go to Rumble and type Will Johnson. There's 192 people watching on Rumble right now. So everybody on Rumble, get ready for people to come join in. I'm getting ready to share information with everybody on Rumble that I cannot share on YouTube. I cannot share it on Facebook. And for obvious reasons, especially when you join me over on Rumble, you're going to see, okay, I like this, Will. I like this. And then you're going to say, I like this side of Will. I like this side of Will. All right. I'm telling you, you're going to like this. You're going to like this. Okay. All right. And I'm getting ready to go over to Rumble. We're getting ready to hit Rumble exclusively in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right. Got to stop it here on Facebook, and I'm stopping the connection on YouTube, because, you know, I want to keep my channel because there's good people on Facebook and YouTube that I'm, you know, still always in contact with. But I want to stop them there. And come on. It's like taking his time here. You know what? Let's just do this. We're going to do it the easy way here. And then I'll have to worry about it. Okay.